Hello, everyone. Today we're going to learn how to make a Gongghi, made famous by Squid Game, but it's just a Korean game that a lot of kids play. So we're going to teach you how to make a Gongghi, or I guess all the five game pieces you need to play Gongghi. So blue create button, document. I'm going to name this Gongghi. That's how you spell it. And 2 because I've already made it once. And then as soon as this loads, first of all, let's look at what a Gongghi looks like. Bunch of different things that you can see it looks like. There's some that are, what's that, a heptagon? Anyway, we're going to make one like this that has these kind of wavy outlines, or like this right here. So we can see there are 2 triangles, 2 circles, and 1 square, and they all have the same shape. So we can make copies of a part to save a lot of work while we do this. And I'll show you how we do that. So first thing we're going to do, make a sketch on our top plane. So I select my top plane, click sketch, type N. So I'm looking right at my sketch. And I'm going to make a circle. Plain and simple. Just let's go with 20 millimeter circle, because these are kind of small. And green check mark. And I'm going to extrude that circle. Super simple so far. If I rotate to the side, let's see, I probably want that to be maybe 15 millimeters. That looks about like the right scale right there. And then I'm going to make another sketch on the top plane, and this is going to be the waves on the outside. So I'm going to click that top plane, click sketch, type N. So I'm looking right at my sketch. And now we're going to add those waves to the outside. The way we're going to do this is we're going to make a construction circle. So make sure that both of these are highlighted, circle and construction geometry. And I'm going to make a construction circle, let's go with about that big. So we'll say 25 millimeters for now, something like that. And then I'm going to make construction lines. So construction is still highlighted, and then line is highlighted. First one's going to be directly above my center point, and it goes straight out to the side. And then escape, and I'm going to select both of these again. And then I'm going to make another construction line that goes here. Now I want there to be 7 lobes on here that go all the way around, but I only need to make one of them. So in order to make this so my one lobe will pattern evenly with 7, I can click dimension, go with this top line and this right here, and do 360, because there's 360 degrees in a circle, divided by 7. And now, if I pattern whatever I make here in this arc 7 times, it will match up perfectly every time. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make another construction line that goes off of this point right here and is tangent to the circle or perpendicular to this line. They will be essentially the exact same thing right now. So escape, and then one more construction line, last one. This one is going to go here and out to my circle again. If I escape and then use my dimension tool, so type D, and then get this angle right here, I want this to be right in the middle of all of the, in the middle of this arc right here. So 360 divided by 14, enter. There we go. Oh, and I think I actually made these in the wrong place. The easiest way for me to fix that is I need these lines to actually be coming straight off of this circle. So let's see if I can just make a construction line like that and make that tangent. Perfect. And then we'll do one more right here like that, perfectly horizontal. And I don't need these ones. So I'm going to type M, which gets my snipping tool. And I'm going to get rid of that one and that one because I don't need them. I need these 2. There we go. Now everything's set up where it needs to be. So all of this so that we can use the spline tool. I'm just going to make 3 points for my spline tool. One goes here, one goes here, and one goes here. There we go. And escape. There we go. And there's my spline. It still doesn't look quite like I want it to for this lobe, I want it to smoothly go in and out from one spline to the next, and instead we'd have a sharp angle if we patterned this. So I'm going to go to this dropdown, and I'm going to select the tangent constraint. And basically, all that does is that it says, when I do this, I click on my spline and I click on this line, it says at this point right here, that point right in the middle, this spline is exactly straight in line with this line right here. And then immediately after that point, it can start to curve away. But at that point, it's exactly in line with that. So if I pattern that, it's going to be nice and smooth. So I'll do the same thing here. And make sure you're not grabbing the line right here that has this dot on the end of it like that. That's not what you want. You want the actual spline itself. There and there. There we go. And then you can change how high the peak is by changing this dimension right here. So that's my 25 millimeter diameter construction circle. If I made that instead 23, now my lobe is shorter. I think I'll go 24. That looks about how I want it. Then this isn't a closed off shape yet. This is just one line. I need to close it off with this part of the circle. So I'm going to use this tool, the use tool, select my circle, and then that gets the whole circle. I don't want that. I just want this area in here. So I'm going to use my snipping tool again, trim tool, and get rid of the rest of that circle. That gets rid of all the rest of it except for what's in here. Green check mark because that sketch is done. Now we're going to extrude that sketch that we just did. And we want it to be the same length as the other one. So we can go up to face and click that face. And there we go. Then if I change how high I made my circle, this will follow along with it just fine. So now green check mark. And then I want to pattern this 7 times around the outside. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to select my circular pattern and entities to pattern. So I don't want to pattern the entire part. I don't want this whole thing 7 times over and over again. I just want this lobe. So instead of part pattern, I want feature pattern because an extrude is called a feature. So I'm going to click extrude 2 because that's what I want to pattern. The axis of the pattern is basically a line that would go right through the middle of where these points cross, which would also be a line that goes through the middle of the circle. So I can just click the circle. There we go. And you can see it's red. It's angry with me. That's because I need to check this reapply features. That just means do it 4 times over and over and over again. And I don't want it 4 times. I want it 7 times. Like that. And now you can see they're so perfectly spaced and nice and even, and they flow smoothly into each other. We're getting really close to where we need to be now. I need just 2 more extrusions. So one's going to be on this top face. So click sketch, type N, so you're looking right at it, and then make a circle. And let's go with about that. So maybe a 16 millimeter circle. Now that circle, if we look on here, is this circle right here. If you can see that circle or that circle, same thing. So if I go back to my part, we'll go with that 16 millimeter circle. Actually, let's see what 17 would look like, just because I'm curious. 17, I like that better. Green check mark and extrude, and I don't want to extrude it very far, so let's rotate or orbit so we can see how far it's going. That's way too big. Let's see what 3 millimeters looks like. Even that might be a little too tall. Let's try 2. Yeah, that's more what I'm after. So green check mark. And then the last thing I got to do is add the shape. So on this top surface, I'm going to make a sketch, type N, so I'm looking right at my sketch. And then I'm going to make, let's start with a circle. Circle, I'm going to make the outside of my circle probably about that big. So let's go with 13 for starters. It didn't actually grab what I wanted to. 13, not 1. There we go. And then I'm going to use offset. And I'm going to offset this circle inwards. And let's make that 2 millimeters for now. I probably want that even bigger, actually. 3 millimeters. And we can always change it later. And then I'm going to extrude that sketch right there. So extrude sketch 4. And I don't want that super big. I want that pretty short. So let's go with, if I can select the whole thing, 1 millimeter. Very short. And then green check mark. There we go. Now that is my Gongghi with a circle on it. Now, the cool thing I can do is just make a copy of this part twice, and then I can have my square and my triangle. So just to make this even easier, I'm going to rename this sketch like that. Right-click, rename, shape, like that. There we go. And then I'm going to right-click on my part and say duplicate. And I'm going to right-click on the one that I just made and say duplicate again. And now I have that part all over again. And if I want this one to be my triangle, then I just double-click my shape sketch, type N, so I'm looking right at my shape, and I'm going to get rid of my circle. So trim my circle and make a triangle. So I'm going to make an inscribed polygon. All that means is there's a circle on the inside of my polygon, as you can see, the construction circle there. Now, if you move after you click, if you move your mouse, it'll change how many edges you have on your inscribed polygon. I want this to be a triangle, so I'm going all the way down to 3, because that's how many edges are on a triangle, and hit escape. And then I am going to dimension, so D or my dimension tool, this circle right here, and let's make that 8 millimeters. That makes my triangle fit perfectly. There we go. Now I'm going to use the offset tool again and grab all 3 edges of my triangle. And using this arrow, I'm going to drag them. Oop, that's not the arrow. That's the 3 times. I'm going to drag them to the inside of my triangle until it's about where I want. Let's see what 2 millimeters here looks like. 2. There we go. And then you can see it already extrudes. Perfect. I have a triangle. Next, a square. Double click my shape sketch. So and then type N, so I'm looking right at it. Type M, so I can use my trim tool or just click on the trim tool, get rid of my circle. And I can use inscribed polygon if I want, but it's a lot easier to just use a center point rectangle for this one. There we go. Let's say I want this to be 10 millimeters. Keep saying 1. It's not what I want. 10. There we go. My goodness. Dimension, this side. That's huge. I don't even need to see the whole thing. I just need to be able to grab that edge. 10. There we go. That's just about exactly what I want. Now I'm going to use offset once more. Grab all 4 edges. And using my arrow, bring them to the inside. Let's make that another 2 millimeters. Perfect. Green check mark. And I have my square. And there you go. That's how you can make Gongghi. If you want to make it a little bit smoother, you can fill it out, all of your shapes. So I click my fillet tool like that. It just rounds off the edges. And if I click this top surface, it'll round off all those edges, just like that. Maybe I don't want 1 millimeter. Maybe I want 0.5 millimeter, something like that. That's a little bit smoother. And then I could grab these corner edges too, if I wanted, and smooth those out. But maybe I don't want those corner edges to be the exact same radius fillet, so let's get rid of those by clicking that X. And then we'll leave all these at a 0.5 millimeter fillet, and then we'll make another one, a new fillet on these corners. That's a little bit bigger. So let's make that a 1 millimeter fillet. Yeah, I kind of like that. Oh, clicked the wrong edge. There we go. And this edge. And last edge. Green check mark. There we go. There's a Gongghi. Like I said, you can change the height of these if you want to, these lobes. You can change the height of your shape, whatever you're feeling. But thanks for watching, and let me know when you finish your Gongghi so we can print some out for you.